What's up guys, Sean here. Today we're going to be talking about magazines for 1911s. Most importantly, magazines that come with the Ruger SR 1911. It came with two different magazines. We got a 7-round magazine. It did not come with this base plate. We'll get into that later. And then we had a 8-round magazine that it comes with this plastic base plate. So first off, you can see the weapon is clear. There's nothing inside there. And what we have in the magazines is actually snap caps, which is a dummy ammunition. Helps protect your feed lips. Really important for reload practice, since you can't actually slam the slide on an empty chamber without damaging your weapon. So you can practice emergency reloads with the snap cap, and then it also helps protect your your firing pin. Of course, I don't feel like that'll really damage your firing pin that much to just dry fire without the snap cap, but definitely snap caps, way to go for practice. So we're talking about magazines here, and Ruger SR 1911 shipped with these two magazines right here. We got the 7-round, 8-rounder. Something I've noticed. So this 8-round magazine was my favorite initially. I was in love with it. You know, it's nice. It's longer than the actual 7-rounder magazine, which means that you're able to get the bigger, heavier gauge spring inside there, which is good. One problem I found was one day I was doing some practice and I was doing an emergency reload. Slide was locked back to the rear, so I dropped the magazine that was in there, grabbed my 8-rounder, and I slammed it in, okay, all high on adrenaline, and look what happened. The slide is not releasing. That's not going anywhere. The magazine is not dropping. So what actually happened is I've rammed that in there so high that it's actually caught on the ejector in there. You see that? That's actually stuck on the ejector. You can see the magazine right here. Yeah, that's jammed up in there. Alright? So what happens is, yes, this front stop plate right here stops here, but nothing stops this rear from being forced in as it pivots on the front here. So, big problem, something I've learned, something that I'm going to look for and make sure I do not purchase any more magazines that are a little bit longer like that for my Ruger SR 1911. As far as unjamming this thing, take something like a piece of wood. You're going to have to depress the magazine release, and you're essentially just going to have to force that puppy down until you hear that click, and now we can drop the magazine. I've also had to go in there and clean up the burr that actually leaves on my ejector in here. So I just kind of stone the burr down. So something to note for sure about magazines that maybe don't fit flush, or maybe it's just this Ruger magazine. I'm not sure. I haven't tried a ton of different magazines, but definitely I'm not using this magazine. This is only going to be a training magazine. This is definitely something that I think might get me killed, so I'm not going to use that. As far as the magazine it came with, this 7-rounder, one problem I was having with this one was without this stop plate here, since it's flush, sometimes when I was attempting to reload, it's hard to actually get that without this base plate in here, something to put on your palm there, to get that to ram in there completely flush. So I had some malfunctions where I wasn't fully seating the magazine. I'd go to fire, alright, and it would cycle, but then it wouldn't load that next round because it wasn't in there fully. Okay? So I'd just be doing a quick reload, and it just wasn't in there all the way. It didn't have that click. I didn't have that positive tension here on the mag release. So just adding a base plate on your 7-round magazine, it just makes a huge difference. You have more leverage to basically get that magazine fully seated in there every time. So if you watch that first kind of Ruger SR 1911 action video I did, I had a failure to feed because I didn't take my 7-rounder and completely seat it flush inside the gun. I had it like this. I went to go shoot, fired the first round, but it wouldn't fire anymore because I wasn't completely flush inside there. So I was able to fix that just by putting that stop plate on there. And where did I get the stop plate from? I actually got the stop plate from purchasing these Kimber Pro mags, which actually have been working really good. One problem they have is they don't have the same gauge spring as your 7-rounder. So the spring is definitely not going to be as fast. You can see we're completely the same as a 7-rounder, but this Kimber holds 8 rounds. I thought I'd give the 8-rounders a whirl. And this seems to be my go-to magazine. It definitely seems to feed really, really good. I've had no issues with the Kimber. I mean, the spring is definitely weaker for sure. But, I mean, we've been having some great feeding. I enjoy the extra round that I get with the Kimber 8. There's also a Kimber 7. And also, I mean, it seems to feed very reliably. I mean, I've had no issues at all with the Kimber magazine. And we can check it out. I'll show you guys. Essentially, this is the Kimber 8-round spring. And so you could see the difference here as we look closely. You're just going to be thicker on your 7-round springs versus your 8-round spring in the same size magazine. It just has to be that much thinner in order to fit that extra round in the same limited space. But again, I haven't had any issues with that. So it's not really that big of a deal in my opinion. So, I mean, there you have it in a nutshell, basically. I'll probably just put this stuff back together off camera since it's kind of fidgety and be boring to watch me. Just put all these magazines back together. But yeah, I mean, I think the Kimber mags are definitely good to go. And if you're really worried about it, then you could probably just get the 7-rounders that have the heavier gauge spring. But I don't really see it being a non-issue. I mean, everything looks like it's pretty much good to go on these Kimber mags. And I've got about 2,000 rounds through my Ruger SR 1911. So yeah, I'll put that other one away off camera. But yeah, in a nutshell, these are going to be my go-to magazines from now on. There's definitely Wilson Combat magazines, but I mean, for the price, I'm able to get 2 Kimber mags versus 1 Wilson Combat magazine. I mean, I definitely want to shoot Wilson Combat magazines, but they're just so expensive. I can probably buy 1 magazine right here and a box of ammo for the price of a Wilson Combat magazine, and I'd rather go shoot some more than buy a really expensive magazine. And this thing seems to be getting the job done. I haven't had any malfunctions running with the Kimber, so no big deal. I'll definitely do an update if I do start running into some issues, but as of now, this is kind of my take on 1911 magazines. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Take care.